Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to a very unique edition of The Right Perspective. We are counting down to result day, ladies and gentlemen, but I've got three erudite speakers and political commentators, journalists, writers, just to get a sense of what they make of these five-state poll of polls. The exit polls, do they show a direction? Let's try and understand the perspective of how these elections have been fought. Yes, the results may whichever they go, but do the pollsters show a trend? Or the exit polls show a trend. A semi-final before the final, the mood in 2018 compared to the mood in 2023. And where does this conversation go from there? Yes, post results, once the results are out, whether or not it marries, mirrors, or it's totally opposite the mega poll of polls, we'll have to wait and watch. But here, what do you think? And how would you assess the election so far? And how would you assess the government of the BJP-led NDA vis-a-vis the opposition's bloc? And how do the stories pan out? So there are five states. We'll focus largely on Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, jo Hindustan ka dil or the big states are concerned. And of course, Telangana, south of the Vindhyas. What does that mean? So with us here on this conversation over the next 20-25 minutes, Sanjeev Srivastava, Abhijit Mazumdar, and Anand Ranganasan. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. And congratulations on the side for the good tidings in the family, Sanjeev Srivastava. But
thank you very much, Anand.
Let me start with you and ask you, what do you make of the exit polls and especially how these elections were fought on ground, largely in three big states, which was Congress versus BJP, straight fights?
So, Anand, very good evening. So, first of all, exit polls we all eagerly await, sometimes for the trend, sometimes to know the pointers, and many times they actually give you an inkling of the result. But this time the exit polls, I must say, have actually ended up leaving us as much confused as we were before the exit polls, in a manner of speaking, because they were too interesting or more crucial, or kind of where the results were still hanging in the balance were Madhya Pradesh, where everybody thought Congress has an edge, and Rajasthan, where everybody, including me, thought BJP has an edge. But the exit polls are not confirming that trend with the same kind of, in a resounding manner. So we all end up awaiting third morning ki bhai kya hota hai. Telangana, yes, there is a surprise if KCR loses, and that was seen on the ground. I was there for 3-4 days, and the upsurge in momentum which Congress was building up was something to be seen. The only thing which remained to be discussed, or which we had to figure it out, which the 3rd December will only figure it out for us, is that whether this surge is good enough to take them past the winning post. Because the gap between KCR and Congress was nearly 20%, 18-20%. So will the surge result in that kind of an up move? Which we don't know. Chhattisgarh, more or less, everybody thought is going the Congress way. So the two key states, very interesting. In Telangana, the Congress, top Congress strategist told me कि चुनाव MP का फंस गया है. हम अभी भी आगे हैं. मतलब he couldn't have conceded, but he said this 2% extra vote of women and the Ladli Behna Yojana seems to be working on the ground. And while there was earlier fatigue with Shivraj, there was suddenly fatigue with Kamal Nath without him coming to office. Kya hai Congress वगैरह का. And the BJP ground forces, troops, everything. So, and Congress here in Rajasthan, if I think the battleground state really in this election, maybe I'm prejudiced because I am in Jaipur today, is Rajasthan. What is happening here on the 3rd? I wish I knew the answer.
But contrary to what you would say, the poll of polls actually show clear mandates for the BJP in Rajasthan and MP. It shows a mandate where the Congress is well clear of the winning number of 46, somewhere around 50. But on ground, they say that Chhattisgarh phasega. Telangana, yes, from day one, there was huge anti-incumbency and the farmhouse CM seemed to stick on KCR. And somewhere from Telangana to the national ambitions, when they renamed themselves BRS, one wonders if that actually, hurt the people on ground, or there were other instances. Before I bring in Anand Ranganathan, let me ask Abhijit Mazumdar. Abhijit also been tracking. Do you see winds of change in these trends also having an impact on 2024, or is it imperfect or incorrect? So compare these state elections with what will happen in Lok Sabha 2024, Abhijit.
So, Anand, I mean, we should here sound a big caveat because apart from in 2014, you would notice that the party which has won this round of, if you can call it semi-finals, have actually lost in the finals. Congress, except in 2014, I think, where BJP got these states,
हाँ जी मैं
and
मीटिंग में जरा
then
अंदर
also
रहती
won the 2014 election. But from the strength that we are getting, I agree with Sanjeev. It's highly confusing because the reports I was getting from Madhya Pradesh is that BJP won't be able to save the state. But now, at
56279
the big polls are showing a massive margin of victory for
56271.
BJP. If that happens, it's quite something. And then if it wins in Rajasthan, Rajasthan now seems very close. We were getting reports that BJP is going to very easily win Rajasthan, but it now seems close. Chhattisgarh is also close, although Congress has an edge, it seems. So BJP will definitely go into 2024 general elections with a lot more confidence, definitely. But they have reason to worry if Congress wins Telangana, BJP had a huge window of opportunity, which I think if they don't get at least a few seats, it would be. I mean, they have missed that window of opportunity at least at the state level because BJP, you remember, got four or five seats in Telangana in 2019.
One seat, 7% vote share. But what happened is
2019 general
2019 they had about 19% vote share. So how much of that 19 from 2018 to 2019 they jumped from 7% to 19% and they were leading in 21 assembly constituencies based on 21 Lok Sabha 2019. But how much of that translates? Because some pollsters have said that they will hit double digits in terms of number of seats, and at the cost of AIMIM and at the cost of the BRS. The gainers are Congress and the BJP. That's what we are seeing. So how would you read that? Would you read that as the Muslims en masse now shifting and going back to the Congress party and gravitating, saying this is the only alternative for us? That's one part. The other part is the BJP machinery now becoming so strong that if they are able to go to double digits and say about increase their vote share from 7% to about 13-14%, that means they've been able to retain a fair share of their 2019 vote share. That itself is kudos, and that will enthuse them as far as 2024 is concerned. Anand Ramanathan, how would you want to see this? Would you and how much of? I'll come to that question next. Yeah, your first thoughts, Anand.
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to Abhijit and to Sanjeev, and congratulations to Sanjeev.
Thank you, Anand.
That he is soon going to be a grandfather. He looks younger than Abhijit Da, so I don't know how that happened. But
we will talk about it. Wait.
there are two issues, Anand, and I think both merit going into. The first is on MP and the second on Telangana, if I may. So, as far as MP is concerned, Anand, we've all seen it before, in a class, everyone's doing well until a couple of truants come along, those shaitan backbenchers, and they completely ruin all predictions about the class, past process. And that is exactly what has happened in the exit polls of Madhya Pradesh. Everything was touch and go, Congress, BJP, 110, 115. And suddenly these two outliers come in. And they've completely stretched what in statistics is called the standard deviation. So we don't know which way to go about. I mean, if you remove the outliers, then it's touch and go. But if you don't, then it kind of heavily skews the poll of polls. So I don't know which way to go. But be that as it may, I think you're absolutely right. Except that I want to add something to it. You see, normally in BJP ruled states, first of all, I think it's, as you said, if we were to go by the poll of polls, including the skewing by the outliers, then Shivraj, or Mamaji has done something spectacular, to beat an anti-incumbency of 2 decades. It's just unbelievable, But the fact of the matter is, if I go by the canvassing that the BJP has done over the last month and a half, in every erstwhile BJP ruled state, whenever Narendra Modi or Amit Shah have gone in, they've always talked about this double engine ki sarkar, कि हमारा engine तो काम कर ही रहा है, like in UP, in every other state. In this canvassing in Madhya Pradesh, this phrase was conspicuous by its absence. And the reason for that is that people realize, until, of course, in the 11th hour, the Ladli thing was kind of buttressed by, giving this kind of adding the dole to the Ladli scheme. People realize that mostly, if at all BJP would do well, it would be on the basis of the front engine, which is the Modi engine. So, and what has happened, if you look at the data, it is the Modi engine that has not only pulled the train, but also the so-called defunct problematic engine of Shivraj, which is at the end of the train. And, if you go by the data, it is astonishing, because for an 80 million population of state, 25 million of them now hold the Ayushman card. And you were talking about 2% women voters, 8 million have Ujjwala, 8 million have toilets. And these are the schemes, central schemes, that have completely changed the whole scenario as far as women in Madhya Pradesh is concerned. So I think, if at all the poll of polls comes out to be correct, including the outliers, I think the credit, I would have to say, would go more towards the Modi central front engine than the back state engine. As far as the Telangana is concerned, I would love to hear views about Telangana from Sanjeev and Abhijita, because they are seasoned analysts of this. Because I'll tell you what has happened. Normally, elections are won 90% populism, 10% communalism, or 5% communalism, 5% secularism, whatever. In this case, if you look at the welfareism of the BRS, it has gone unhinged. It is unbelievable. The welfare schemes, everything that is done. I mean, you talk about Aam Aadmi Party, and you talk about Punjab, which is in debt of 2.5 lakh crores now because of this freebies and populism of Aam Aadmi Party. BRS, the Telangana state right now is in debt of 6 lakh crores. That amounts to each Telangana resident in debt of 1.7 lakhs. Anand, think about this. And despite this, if BRS loses, you really have to, I don't know what to do. You have to go back to the drawing board and consider that what is the Indian electorate doing? Have they actually gone beyond this freebie culture? Have they realized that, look, this is something that is not going to work forever? Or if BRS, throws a surprise, then we are back to normal again. So these are the two things that I wanted to talk about.
So you make very interesting points, because welfareism, PM Modi on the ticket, Rahul Gandhi's electoral debacle, or not having the kind of political purchase. But the third aspect is, are voters now looking at not just the freebies or the welfare aspect, but also how am I economically able? Am I able to, is my life getting better, or am I for the worse? See, Sanjeev, where would you want to look at this election and peg it on? Because Shivraj was very clear. Shivraj Singh was very clear when he said, "Ladli Behna and Behnon ne hame jita diya." Or apratyashit jeet is what he has talked about. That means in 2003 they had about 140 seats. This time they are saying that they will beat that. And if Madhya Pradesh does that, and if they win Rajasthan, that sets the tone that the heartland is coming back to the BJP, or it's with Modi. That's what the political story is going to be. And for the Congress, which was trying to lead the India bloc or the Indie bloc, where do they go? And for BRS, which had national ambitions and wanted to push a third front, they're nowhere. They're routed in their own state, in their own backyard. Sanjeev.
There's so many things one can talk about. I will take my cues from what you just said and what Anand just said. See, if Mr. Modi was so popular, this double engine thing would have been so effective, then why did we have Karnataka or Himachal? So the double engine actually works when the second engine is also doing well. The first engine can only take you past the winning post if your second bogie or second engine is performing well in the eyes of the people. Because people across the country, I think the more I travel, the more I understand that, have clearly demarcated the two, national and state elections. There is no comparison. So they lost the Hindi heartland, these three states, Chhattisgarh, MP and Rajasthan last time around, and One hands down, it was nearly 100% record in these three states, or 98%. So they have completely differentiated the two. They are electing a PM, they are electing a CM. They are electing a federal national government, they are electing a state government. So while Mr. Modi's charisma remains, he's the number one charismatic leader, he can turn the tide in close elections in state polls. If there is a real swing, or if there is anti-incumbency or pro-incumbency, he can't do much about it. So if MP is won, I would give more credit to Shivraj, that he has shaken off that anti-incumbency which everyone was talking about these past few months. For the reason his face was not projected, and then it was kind of semi-projected, because Mr. Modi is the smartest of us all as far as politics is concerned. He knows कि state election में मेरा उतना धमाका नहीं है जितना national polls में. एक बात तो ये हुई. The second thing which one has to now really underscore, and which is not a new case. It has been since kingdom come, but it's now ever so pronounced. The divide between north and south of India's. So while we may go endlessly gaga over whatever, those issues do not resonate south of India's. We saw it in Karnataka, we saw it in Hyderabad. Mr. Modi remains very popular. But unlike in north, where sometimes Rahul Gandhi is subject of fun, ridicule, nicer words I am using. But he's one of the most loved characters in Hyderabad. Now, how do you beat it? It's the same country. they speak as good in their Deccani accent, but Hindi is spoken there. Hyderabad, everybody understands. There's no problem. But Rahul is very much acceptable. He's well liked, and that's the problem, which is not just with KCR, but it's a problem with Owaisi is facing now. So he's have to guard his stuff. So I think this divide will be. It has been there in 1977 also. We saw it. Indira Gandhi won south of India's, lost north. So north, Mr. Modi is 100% likely to, as things stand now, hold his own in north in 2024 national elections. But south में अभी भी दिक्कत है, problem है. Though he will get more seats in south than in the state elections. So those were the two takeaways. And I think KCR, whatever freebies, welfare state, it may be the number one state. I think Ashok Gehlot is as good. But लोग क्या इनके आगे बढ़ गए? अभी उनको केसीआर की वेलफेयर स्कीम्स के ज्यादा दे सी द थ्री फेसेस ऑफ फैमिली, केसीआर, केटीआर, कविता. अरे भाई यही इन तीन जनों के लिए तेलंगाना बना है क्या? So the whole parivarwad thing echoes there as much, and people also realize that ultimately whatever you do, KCR will in the end bat for BJP. So the anti-BJP vote is gravitating towards the Congress. कि भाई हमको जिससे लड़ाई है उसको हराने वाली पार्टी तो ये है. Why did BJP go up so sharply in between in Telangana? Because they were seen as somebody who will take on KCR. Gradually this impression gained, right or wrong, कि they will not take on KCR. They are ठीक है, थोड़ा मिला जुला खेल है. तो अभी कांग्रेस की एकदम से बल्ले बल्ले हो रही है.
करेक्ट. बट इसमें एक कहानी में ट्विस्ट हो भी ये भी हो सकता है कि तेलंगाना सब जगह फंस भी सकता है. कमिंग टू आनंद, जस्ट अभिजीत,
सब कुछ फंस सकता है.
आई अंडरस्टैंड. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग
फंस सकता है. ये तो अपनी अपनी सोच है. गलत तो हो ही सकता है.
मैं प्योरली बाय द एग्जिट पोल ऑफ पोल्स की बात कर रहा हूँ, बिकॉज दैट हाफवे नंबर इज समवेयर एट 59. अब वो 59 का 60 तो ठीक है, 61 का अगर 58 हो गया, so then the others come into play. So, and somebody like a BJP or an AIMIM, one of them will have to support the other. I'm just saying
just one sentence. I am not even suggesting that Congress will win. It is the upsurge for Congress which is amazing. They may end up still being a good loser. How do we know?
Correct. See, all party except BRS को जिसने last time support किया AIMIM, as per the poll of polls, they are also losing ground. BRS is losing ground. Those who opposed BRS and AIMIM both have gained ground. The Congress, because it's a Rivas se party hai, it has always had a base in Andhra Pradesh, erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, and BJP, which at one time had significant vote share and now shrunk, and it's trying to find its feet again in Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh. Abhijit, where do you stand? So, how much of PM Modi on the ticket, and how much of the others? Or were there similar factors across all states, but the voter perhaps reacted differently to these touch points in these states? How would you assess it? Then coming to Anand.
I think again, I agree with Sanjeev that gone is the day. See, when Modi first came, there was this. He was an unknown quantity. People really sort of. I mean, his magic would work in the states as well. But as time goes on, the Indian voter now sees whether the BJP has anything good to offer at the state leadership level. And if there isn't, then you have something like a Karnataka where Modi really, I mean, look at the kind of intense campaigning he had done towards, especially the last 2 weeks of the elections, but it couldn't swing it for BJP. So there has to be, people look at the state level leadership. If you and the state and central polls are clearly demarcated. Odisha polls simultaneously. They put out a completely different verdict at the state level and at the central level. I mean, if you look at the seats BJP wins. So some credit, I mean, a fair bit of credit will go to Shivraj Singh Chauhan if BJP actually does well in Madhya Pradesh. If it does well in Rajasthan, well, I think it is to Gehlot's discredit because I don't see a BJP face there. BJP didn't go with Vasundhara or with anybody else.
No, but see, I'll tell you what happens is when you parachute and when you whip up your MPs and tell them to go back and contest at the assembly level and say not just win your Sansad Kshetra but win your Vidhan Sabhas, that's a big message that comes that Sangathan is first. Secondly, the Modi guarantee aspect comes into play along with the regional leader, and if you're able to prove your strength, then I'll get you. If you're able to win to get over your fatigue factor, then okay, then I have no problems. Otherwise, Rani Sahiba is still not guaranteed her position. And neither is a Raman Singh guaranteed his position, neither is Shivraj Singh Chauhan guaranteed that he will come back as Chief Minister. The party will decide. But for all that talk about caste census, all that talk about Congress will retain these states at the back of the Karnataka win, all of that doesn't seem to be happening. Final word, Anand. We've got to wind up after that.
Yeah, very quickly. I think both Abhijit Da and Sanjeev have made some great points about the demarcation in the mind of the Indian voter as far as the state elections and the central elections concerned. Absolutely true. Except just a minor disagreement on Karnataka, where, in fact, despite the anti-incumbency, BJP miraculously managed to maintain almost exactly its vote share that it was. They made some disastrous mistakes as far as the Lingayat calculation was concerned. And of course, the entire JDS vote share shifted to the Congress. So those were possibly the bigger reasons for the defeat. Otherwise, the vote share of BJP was absolutely maintained to almost 0.1%. The other point is just 20 seconds. Let's not write off populism just now and freebie culture, because remember, Sanjeev is right about the North and BJP, victories there, but Himachal, the Congress promised that it will revert to the scheme that it had itself junked, the old pension scheme. Congress brought the new pension scheme, and now the electoral promise was we're going to junk the NPS and bring the old, and they won. And it is going to bankrupt Himachal Pradesh. 85% of its tax revenue is going to go to the old pension scheme now. But the voters didn't seem to care. So, let's not write off populism. I'm still going to put my neck out and say that BRS holds a great sway because of the welfareism that it has committed.
But that's actually, all that welfareism, look at the promises that were made by the Congress party this time. And this was openly polarizing promises that have been made in Telangana by the Congress party. And they played to the gallery to ensure that they were able to wean away support from the AIMIM and BRS from various different groupings, community-wise, caste-wise. And they made the effort. For the BJP, if they get to double digits from 1 to 10, that's a big fillip. Even if they get from 1 to 7 or 1 to 5, it's a progress for them. That's how they will go. But if you look at the larger picture, the party that is supposed to be challenging the incumbent at the center seems to be not getting the kind of traction that it should have in the state elections after the success in Karnataka. That's what you would want to look at. On the other aspect, that since 2014 to 2023, for the third time around, he's going to seek the mandate. And he goes to the state and he's able to whip it up along with the Sangathan and the party. So for PM Modi to be on the ticket there and to be able to deliver what has happened, along with the regional satraps, it just looks phenomenal. But as a wind up, ladies and gentlemen, with the promise that once the results are out on the 3rd of December, on the 4th, we'll come back and look back at this conversation too and then take it forward. So I seek your time then and we'll connect at that time. Congratulations to everybody. Thank you very, very much. On behalf of Sanjeev Srivastava, the party is due when you are back in the national capital. Thank you very, very much.